So, hi everybody, my name is Dennis Ojo. I am a junior at the college studying government, and Carl Miller, who is a tutor in Winthrop House, came to me with this idea. He said, you know, for a while I've been wanting to film Harvard students taking a literacy test. I think it would be really cool, and you know, I saw this online, and you know, getting that reaction I think would be really cool. And I thought, you know what, that would be really cool. And this was about a month before the midterm elections in 2014, and I said, you know what, I've been studying a lot about voter suppression in the United States, primarily in the South, and I said, you know, this might be a great opportunity to connect what is often seen as something that is in the past, voting barriers, voter discrimination. Most people are not aware of what is going on right now. And so I said, you know, this might be a great opportunity to illuminate our peers about voter suppression in the United States today. And so, you know, I think one of the main things that you notice when you watch this video is you'll see that most people were saying, you know what, a literacy test, it sounds so legitimate. It sounds like something that, you know, why wouldn't you need to be able to be educated or be able to read to be able to vote? The problem, and as Carl highlighted, is that these tests were not legitimate literacy tests. They were just given to people based on what you looked like. And you saw when Oprah tried to vote, the county registrar had so much discretion in deciding what was on the literacy test. It was not legitimate in any way. And so by immersing Harvard students in this process, we saw that even undergraduates, PhDs, some of those students you saw there had PhDs or teachers here, and they didn't even know what it really felt like to be in the shoes of someone who had to go through the literacy test. And so today I want to, and so what we did, and you'll see at the end of the video, we connected it to voter ID laws, which are being passed primarily in the South of the United States today. Now, voter ID law is, well, let me backtrack. First, in 2013, the Supreme Court ruled in a case called Shelby v. Holder that a specific part of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which is often considered really one of the most effective pieces of civil rights legislation ever passed, they ruled Section 4B as unconstitutional. Now, Section 4B, it prevented certain municipalities in certain states that had a history of discriminating racial minorities. It prevented them from making changes to their electoral systems without federal oversight before. So it was just kind of like a strict scrutiny test for some of you budding lawyers out there. If you made any changes, the federal government was able to review it because more likely than not, it had the purpose of being discriminatory. Now, the Supreme Court's reasoning was that this was based on 40-year-old data. The counties that were covered on this were discriminating back in 1964, and this is just it didn't apply today. And now, whether you agree with this reasoning or not, the problem is that this struck down that part of the Voting Rights Act, and now our Voting Rights Act is without a type of this kind of provision for federal oversight. And so immediately as this provision was struck down, several states passed voter ID laws that were being blocked. And a voter ID law is a requirement that to register to vote, you have to have a photo ID that is provided by a state government. And just to give you just a quick background, racial minorities and low-income people are less likely to have voter IDs. This is just a thing to keep in mind, and I'm going to get into that in a second. Why? But first of all, the rationale for why these voter ID laws were being passed, the reason why is, you know what, we need these voter ID laws because many in the conservative media and many Republican leaders are saying that, you know, the reason why we're losing all these elections is because black people and Latinos, they're committing voter fraud. They're going and they're voting multiple times, and it's costing us elections. And let me just tell you that is completely false. There's no empirical data to support this rationale. And every study that I've looked at, from the Brennan Center for Justice, Charles Hamilton Houston Institute for Race and Justice here at the law school, in an analysis of over 1 billion ballots cast since 2000, there's been a handful of irregularities found, and almost all of those cases are cases of clerical error on the part of the county, or just people, their own user, like for instance, somebody having a spouse die and not knowing what to do with the ballot, something like that. And it's completely, it's really minuscule. Because if you think about it, voter fraud is something that is not rational at all. You think about it, if I go and try to vote twice or even 100 times, that's not going to have a very large impact on an election that is decided by thousands of votes. And it's not rational, more so because it's a federal crime, carries a penalty of $10,000 and up to 5 years in prison. So we have a problem in this country of people not going to vote because it's something that takes a lot of time, not people going and doing it multiple times in order to swing elections. And so I apologize, the lighting is not too well here, but the darker states are the states that have primarily passed voter ID laws since the 2013 election Supreme Court decision. And you might notice a trend here, but a lot of these same states are the same states that had literacy tests back in the day. So there's definitely a trend. And this is the reason why I was drawn to this project. Is I saw a very clear connection between what we're seeing today with voter suppression and with the literacy tests that were so prevalent back in the 1960s. And so just going back to the idea of why a voter ID law is so discriminatory, it's that people that are low income, racial minorities are more likely to be working class, and when you're working class, you're less likely to have the time to be able to go to the DMV and be able to go get in line, and so there's the time cost of finding out about the new registration requirements, first of all, but also the time involved in going to the DMV and waiting in line. We've all been there, right? Being at the DMV, you don't want to, who's going to want to go do that just so that they can go vote 2 weeks later, right? It's adding another step to a process that is already more convoluted than it needs to be. In most other countries, the government actually affirmatively tries to get your ballot to you and registers you. You don't have to do the registration on your own. But in America, we kind of put it on people to go and register themselves, and now we're adding this other step. And if, for anybody that's studied models of economics, the more steps that you have to add to a process like this, the more likely that you're not going to do it. The utility of voting is going to be less when there's more steps added to it. And so the Charles Hamilton Houston Institute found that when you take into account all the fees that are involved in getting the ID, the time taken off from going to work, and the time that you spend waiting at the office, it can amount to between $75 and $175 to get an ID to vote if you didn't have one previously. And this falls disproportionately on Black and Latino voters. And so I'm gonna turn off the light because I do want you to see this. This is so another example of so moving on from voter ID laws. I just wanted to show this gerrymandered district in Illinois. And so this is, it's a democratically controlled district, so I'm not just going to say that only Republicans are responsible for dishonest practices, but I just wanted you to get an idea of some of the other things that politicians can do. So this is all one district, and you can see the effort that went into drawing this. This is connected by like a football field size of a strip connecting this, and so every few years, politicians are able to draw the lines and divide different racial groups in order to keep things in certain ways. And so you can just imagine that if you have a racial minority in one group, you can either dilute the population by making the district extremely large, or you can break that population up and make them small minorities in other districts so that they can't elect any kind of majority. So the point is that voter suppression is a very real issue, and this literacy test project was a way to kind of bring light to that. And that is why we're here at the presenting at the Grad School of Education, because all of you are educators. You all have an opportunity to impact young people and let them know that the struggles of the 1960s aren't over. There's There's a lot that needs to still be done, and so we feel that we can take the energy of the Black Lives Matter movement, take all of this, take this information and turn it into institutional change by getting to the polls and voting for the people that will make the right changes. Okay, thank you so much. And now Stephen's going to come and talk about the design aspect.
Okay.